Let's do some streaming. Hit the music. All right, there we go. Full disclosure. Well, we'll see. I'll say it now and I'll say it again. I am hungover right now. Really bad. Hungover. It happens. It's okay. All right, let's go through it all. I've been doing these fun process videos using these time lapses. And they're doing okay on social media, getting a little engagement. It's funny, the audience for these is a little bit different than the audience for the final compositions. It's not one-to-one. And that makes sense. Like, some people are going to be, I don't know, process junkies or something like that. Isn't that a term? And people who aren't curious about that stuff are just going to be bigger fans of just the finished thing, you know? Last night, I went to the work party. And it went well. I think it went pretty darn well. Went well because I didn't embarrass myself too badly or, make a fool of myself. And, got some intel. A little bit of who's hot, who's not. I'm glad I made the cut. All right, so let's do I think we can get away with doing even just one more. Push it. Let's try and see if we can do even more blue light before we throw in the towel and say it's too much. It's way too much. Not to overdo it, but see where do those boundaries lie. And we'll save this in a new version, just in case it all ends up being a terrible, terrible mistake. Never should have done it. We'll know we can go back, but this will be a quick pass. Just what if there was just the kiss of a highlight on some of these forms? Just so subtle. You'd think it wouldn't make any difference, like there's nothing there to see at all, but I think it makes a difference. Just something to delight the eye. Reinforce the form. Really control the gradient. A little bit of light overall, plus some blue. And just kissing these little highlights. I think the important thing that went down last night was the ability for me to, like, put my face out there again. People might recognize me from many years past and be like, oh, Max, he's still around. Haven't worked with him forever. But look, he didn't move away like so many people did during the pandemic. We can bring him in on our project. That, and a very fun little quick conversation. It was great because I was already on my way out because I was like, I can't drink anymore. I can't eat or drink anymore, and they're already going to close this place in the next 5 minutes. Let me get ahead of the line and call my Uber. So I ordered the Uber and I pop outside. And several people are milling about, and there it is. There's the is that the hat of shame? What happened last night? Yeah, I went to the work party. The work party last night. The hat of shame is not. It's just I slept in my clothes. Because what happened is basically I came home and my wife and kids had fun, like a Christmas event down the street. So they had fun and I had fun. But Daddy had a lot of drinking fun. So that was kind of anyway, so my hair is disgusting and messy from not having showered, and I'm super hungover, just super hungover right now. I'm almost never too hungry or hungover to draw though, so so here I am. I can do this stuff in my sleep. But yes, so I was telling you about the work party yesterday, and so so it did go well. I'm grateful for that. I was able to see and connect and really network with some of the directors that have been keeping me busy for the past few years, and some of them I had never really met in person. Actually, many of them I had never really met in person, so it was very good to oh, I just remembered this now. Hold on, I got a text. I got a text. Do you all remember when Sexter, were you following me when I had my Halloween party and I smashed my face? This was this year, like the between 1 and 2 today. Okay, great. Okay. Yeah. So you're fairly new. So when I I had a Halloween party here and I was dressed as Jesus, and it was also sort of like my birthday party. So I was really, really hungover or really drunk, and I was screwing around and I fell on my face, like really hard, fell on my face. And I had all these scabs and cut marks, and I still kind of have a little bit of like scar or discoloration right here. It was divine retribution. It's like I was smitten. Yeah, scars are cool, but in the end I healed up fine. But like I could have broken my wrist, I could have injured my body in a way, like I could have had a concussion. Well, it turns out that the wife of my friend, who's a director at this company, so the guy and the wife that I last saw at the Halloween party, she was like, I have a video of you falling on your face. And I was like, what? You have it on video? Because I've got cameras at my house in the backyard, but there was a bush, there was a decorative bush that we had placed for the party, and it was blocking the view of the camera. Otherwise, I would have, like, seen a front row seat. Well, she has video of me in falling, and she showed it to me last night, and it's really embarrassing, but it's hilarious. So I'm gonna quickly see if I can. Let's see. I'll have to message her on like Instagram or something like that, because I don't really have her cell phone number. But that is funny. Anyway, so I'll show it on stream because it's hilarious. We'll have a little watch party. Let's see. Maybe I can just hit her up on Instagram now. Yeah. My wife wants to see it, you know, because she didn't see me hit the floor. She just had to deal with the aftermath. I think she would, now that we can laugh at it, I think she would like to see it so that she can laugh at it. Oops. Let's switch away from this one to... do that. It's dumb. I have to do it on my cell phone. No, don't do that. Okay. This request. Ugh. Okay. Can you send me the vid of me falling? Great seeing you all last night. Okay. Cool. Well, if she gets it back to me, we'll screen it down. It'll be hilarious. But it sort of solves a little mystery. So I was like, why did I fall on my face? And like, it doesn't make sense. Like, did I black out and just like lose consciousness, or did I trip? You know, what was the thing? Because I'm not like prone to just falling out of nowhere, right? And now the mystery is solved, and it'll be clear in the video, but I did not simply black out. That is not what happened. I'm grateful for the additional info. It sheds light on exactly what went down. So that's cool. So anyway, what I'm doing right now is adding a little bit of just tiny little highlights to help get the read on the form with the blue light, the ambient blue light. There was an impressive piece of art I saw on Reddit. I think it was here, that reminded me a little bit. Nope, wasn't on that subreddit. Well, just like everything, like if you don't save it in your feed, like, you'll never see it again, right? Oh well. But it was kind of, it felt like it was, obviously it's not someone following me or doing what I'm saying, but it was a good example of the, like, using, subtly subtly using the juxtaposition of cool and warm light sources to just make something look amazing. It was a portrait of Princess Peach from Mario, and it was a little, you know, sexed up. I would say, you know, they gave her some sex appeal, which is fine. It wasn't overtly done, but it was beautiful, and I was impressed enough by it to think to mention it. But now I can't find it. So what are you gonna do? Lost to the ether. Sexed up, yeah. The sex appeal is a factor that but I don't like so many. What I see too often is like an overly sexed up Zelda, which is like not really something I like. And I don't know why. I'll probably... I don't mind some sex appeal, but not like here's slutty Zelda. I'm like, that's not my jam. Right, getting there, getting there. Let's see here. Tiny kisses of light. It's kind of blessed, and Zelda is like not an adult. I kind of agree, although they rarely seem to I'm not sure if it's like there's like I don't think of Link as a child, even though because they have in Ocarina of Time like clearly delineated young Link, young Zelda, and then older Link, but how old, right? Like, do they go from 6 years old to 16? Are they the same age exactly? So Zelda is the same age as Link, you know? And I'm not, to me, I don't ship Link and Zelda directly because they, it's like, I don't know, Link has mysterious origins. Like it's not really clear to me that like he couldn't even be Zelda's long lost brother or something like that. I guess it's not the case, but there are some interesting. A pet theory of mine is that is a possibility in A Link to the Past. It's hard to tell. They're at least young adults, yeah. And I just don't like the idea that it's like a reckless indulgence of it just rubs me the wrong way a little bit. But then, you know, if in enough time, maybe it does make sense, but certainly not if they are frankly like too young to be, you know, doing that sort of thing. I don't think it makes sense to you know, to put that out there. we'll see. Come next week, I'll probably be like drawing Zelda in a triangular bikini, like the Triforce bikini or something. It'd be weird. It would be weird and cool, but also like not the thing that, like, how am I gonna do that when I just talked here for 5 minutes about how I don't like that, right? Artists, they never change. But last night I had a quick little chat with the soon-to-be new CEO of the company. And she's apparently a big fan of me. Yeah, I had met her before. It was, because I'd seen her around the actual studio. I didn't know this was like 6 years ago, and I didn't know she was basically running the place then. It wasn't that clear to me, just to see it, but apparently she was like the head of global operations or something like that. I shouldn't talk about it too much, but anyway, it went well. Happy to say that yeah, she remembers me. She even is not working, but she lives in my city. Like, I saw her at Trader Joe's the other day. But what was happening was, at that time, I was like, oh, I should say hi. But then I realized, oh shit, I'm wearing the hat from like a competing studio. I'm like, I don't know if that's a good look. So I laid low. But I told her about it last night, and she's like, oh, I wouldn't have cared. You should just said hi. So next time I'll be more bold. But it was a solid schmooze, if that term can apply. And yeah, and I didn't get like so drunk that I peed my pants or all the things. It was the competing studio, Nintendo. No, I totally would have. I mean, I don't want to say like Nintendo is a dream job. It could be potentially, but Nintendo is also a little bit difficult to work for, is something I've heard, because I've worked on commercial projects that involve like was it Animal Crossing? Is that, I know that's Nintendo, but was it made by Nintendo? Animal Crossing. Who makes this? Designers. Developers, Nintendo, Monolith Software. Publisher, Nintendo. Interesting. Seems, yeah. But, Nintendo, like, operates... Nintendo does what Nintendo wants at the speed of Nintendo. And like, there's no breaks in the chain. So it's like, if there's a question, it goes to whoever needs to supply the answer and takes as long as it needs to. It's not, they don't, you know, if it delays the commercial, good, you know, or whatever. It's like, it honestly, every interaction, because they would all come to me like third hand or whatever. It's like the director begging to get an answer on something, you know, and Nintendo just taking its sweet time getting back to us, causing stress, much unneeded stress. It's like simple things that should be easy to. I think Kit and Krista have said something similar. Who are Kit and Krista? Are they other artists who freelance, that like old Maxi. It sounds like a fun channel. They did the Nintendo podcast. Oh, interesting. Yeah. That isn't that uncommon for... I mean, it's like, that's not really even just a Nintendo thing. Games companies are tricky to work for when you come from like a production environment where it's like, hey, we're this stuff moves fast. Like, we're all type A person, not type A personalities, but like the people who put stuff together in production, like they need answers now. Like they can't wait. It's like they're used to just picking up the phone and making something happen. But that doesn't fly at Nintendo, and it certainly doesn't fly at a lot of these like monolithic game companies. So like when I was storyboarding on Apex Legends, like we would get these scripts, and then like people at EA would have notes. EA would hire the writers to make the scripts and they would get approved, but then other people would have notes and we'd revise them, and then Respawn would have notes. And we're like, wait, aren't you all the same company? Like, can't you understand? We're doing Kit and Krista podcast now. They talk about some experiences working at Nintendo. Interesting. Okay, I'll have to check that out. But yeah, I think it's just endemic to working in video games. And I remember having similar problems. Like, we were trying to put together like a cinematic spot for League of Legends. It's super difficult to get a straight answer. Everything was just like, well, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. Things get approved, but they're not really approved. So the changes come in anyway. They're like, here's the approved script. And to me, that means it's like, okay, the script's not going to change. This is something we need to treat this as like the Holy Bible and not mess with it. And then like, it's like we treat it with reverence, but they don't, and they go and change more things that didn't need to change, or if anything, they make it worse. Like, why are you doing this? It's like arbitrary and sets us back a day, and we don't get extra time later on to make up for it, so we just have to rush everything, and things look half as good as they could have. It could have looked amazing. Now it has to look super compromised and rushed. Challenging, but mostly fun. Very temper. Just slightly adding little highlights. It's interesting, the proliferation online of like, it's obviously not a new thing, but it feels new to me that artists and production and development are really talking about the realities of things. Like being, you know, and I don't know if it like affects their careers, like Kit and Krista are like, if you spill the beans on Nintendo, do they consider you untouchable after that? Like, can you still work for them if you wanted to, or is it now you're dead to us because you have broken your silence? Like, I'm curious about that stuff. I want to share things that I have experienced and know, but because I'm still in that space, I don't think they plan on working there again. Yeah, I think it's like, if you think you are done with like a client or like that type of work, you're ready to take your chances elsewhere. Like, why not talk about it, right? And I think there's an audience for that type of talk. You know, I'd be curious to hear it. I guess I'll look that up later. Is it on YouTube? From what it seems, they got pretty high, but there's like a cap. Okay. There are ceilings. True, for they get to occasionally hang out with Reggie and Miyamoto. Interesting. Not sure who Reggie is, but the Miyamoto guy, yeah. Miyamoto Shigeru Miyamoto. The old Nintendo president. Oh, Reggie was? Okay. He's about kicking ass and taking names. Interesting. Just little tiny highlights you can barely see. It's like it makes no difference at all, but it does over time. And anyway, it's easy. This is something I can do in my hungover brain. Yep. Tomorrow night, in fact, I'm hosting a little holiday get-together. This is going to be funny. It's a holiday ornament making party. So I don't know if you celebrate Christmas, but if you do, then you know that ornaments can be fun. And this is something we've done a few years. We haven't done it recently. Things were just too complicated up until recently. We don't do much, but I've made gifts for my sister. Okay. Here's a link. Dexter has provided a link, and I like to live dangerously by clicking on links. Interesting. just to provide a little context, this is the link.
My name is Reggie. I'm about kicking ass. I'm about taking names, and we're about making games.
All right, that's helpful. Yeah, no biggie. I don't know if like people actually kick ass when they say that they're gonna kick ass, but maybe they do. Anyway, that's interesting. I never really heard of his name. I don't know if he's like a creative president, but I feel like people who have podcasts are young, but maybe what's her name? The kitten. He came out to speak during E3s and such. Okay. Forgot to add the light to this eyeball over here. And at this point, I really need to add put the highlight in the right spot, because this little dot right here, there's going to be light coming from the lava coming from that direction, but the highlight is, there's no light corresponding to that highlight, so that needs to go. I'll just do that right now. Do you have any ambitions to work in video games? Nah, okay. Are you pursuing art professionally? I mean, I think you could do it if too much stress, yeah. If you're not already doing it, I don't know if that is, nah, all right, keep it pure. I respect it. Too much stress, yeah. It definitely can take the fun out of something that is enjoyable. Do web development and programming and a little design. I help my brother out when he needs it. He's got his own graphic design business. Okay, that's good. Good skills to have. A graphic design business, like where he designs the designs, or is it more like printing out designs, or a bit of both? Okay, it's like full stack. I don't know what you would call it, but it's like business for real. Good. He just prints, orders prints, and installs basic stuff. That's cool. Let's put the highlight like that. Now the highlight is sort of nonsensical, because if anything, it should be like a field of blue. Where would that light? I mean, it doesn't need to be insinuated like it's bright light, but it's just be coming off of a cloud or something. You're chronically ill, so your main job is just trying to get better. I didn't know you were chronically ill. I'm sorry to hear that. Maybe one day I can get a job. I do think fairly well. You think you do fairly well. I got the social skills and the technical skills, just no stamina. I didn't know that. Sorry to hear that. It's all good. I mean, share as much as you like to. I'm not I'm not unsympathetic to the shit that goes, like, shit happens. It's crazy. I think I told you what happened to my daughter, right? It was like she got cancer when she was a baby, and it was so fucking crazy. I'd never encountered that level of, like, what the fuck. You read it on my website, yeah. If it was like my digital storyboards website, yeah, that's basically the whole spiel. That's basically it. And it, to this day, it's like I'll never really shake the craziness, but it was it was a terrible thing, but my adaptations and the changes that resulted were ultimately beneficial, and it helped me grow as a person in ways that I needed to. I guess that's, just being a parent, but that was parenting on hard mode for sure. Yeah, learn to adapt, and I'm more I'm not jaded anymore. I used to be like very cynical about stuff. Like, oh yeah, let's help the people, sure, like anybody gives a shit. And now I'm like, as someone who had been put in a position where I did need help from others, and were able to receive it even from total strangers. Sorry, my wife is calling. Hey, boo. Oh, why did it do that? Hey, boo. It's good. I'm actually streaming right now, so I'm talking. I need to mute the mute the thing. Okay. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, sounds good. I'm streaming, but I can pause it. And if it makes sense for me to stay, I can stay. If it makes sense for me to come, I can come. Okay. Okay. Love you too, boo. Bye. All right, let's see. I didn't mute my thing, did I? So that was still going, and this is this working now? Is this working now? Okay, and then all right, I don't know if you can hear or if everything is crazy, but I I didn't want the call to interrupt my headphones, and it did. And I had that turned off the other day, and it shouldn't have. Anyway, that was just annoying. What happened? Okay. My wife is going to be home in 20 minutes. I'm going to go with her to get our daughter from school. I think is sensible to do. Let me save this just in case. What we can do right now is do a little side-by-side comparison, because it feels like we're like doing literally nothing, but we're like, so here's the difference. You got to go right now anyway. Yeah, it's slowly coming together. This is before the stream and this is after. And it's subtle, but you can see that it does give it a little more oomph. And that'll be the last, these are the last things that I do before I really start kicking ass with like adding the lava light, adding the lava in, and adding that light. So that's gonna look awesome, and that'll be coming up soon. So anyway, but probably not today. So anyway, thanks for stopping in. Boom. Lights on, lights off. Just adding light. Peace out. Actually, another funny thing. You don't have to stick around for the story if you're still listening. But it was fun that last night, also the director who was my friend there that I chatted with, and his wife came to my Halloween party. He was the guy that showed me this coloring technique. And I told him about the Zelda project, and he's like, oh yeah, that's cool. And I showed him the art, and he's probably drunk and just in a good mood, but he's like, oh, that's awesome. I'm like, he probably thinks it's cringe, but I actually do think this stuff looks good. And I'm just a little bit proud of it. Just a little bit. I'm allowed to be a little bit prideful. Just a little bit. Okay. Am I done adding these highlights here? Let's add a little bit more. Here. Oh, looks like I already did. Here, let's try that one more time. Yeah. It's better. Anyway, he showed this technique to me long ago. And then I didn't really even start using it until... Well, I started using it to help me out on the comic book, which I did long ago. And I wasn't using it very expertly, and I'm not saying I'm using it very well right now, but I asked him, I was like, do you remember showing me that technique? And he's like, oh yeah. Like, yeah, I do remember. And so he had a little bit more information that I can pass on, because it was like a Tumblr post that it came across his feed or whatever, and it wasn't, someone had translated it from Japanese, like a tutorial of using the sliders. So that's a little bit of a clue. I was like, do you think you could find that again? You know, I'd be super curious. And he's like, I'll look for it. So he'll probably never find it. But that's an interesting clue, is that it is possibly or probably a technique that a Japanese artist had developed or was popularizing, attempting to at least. For my part, I find it so extremely useful in doing this type of color work, you know, any kind of color that could use the benefit of feeling like real light, or mimicking those effects. But I've reminded him, so we'll see. We'll see if he, he's like the world's busiest guy, so very, very important director, but also a really, really talented artist and painter. I remember when he first was sort of showing people, it was at the studio of one of my former clients. I mean, they're still my clients. It's just that client was not a very big one at the time. And he was demoing it to a few of like the intern graphic designers who were basically, you know, attempting to do good work, but not really succeeding at it. Basically things just not looking right, not needed to look colorful, but also real, and something that he has told me and that made an impression is like, it's not the design of something that makes something look real, it's how light affects it. That's the thing that makes something look real. And that's like, and light is consistent, so it basically always works the same way. And that's kind of true, I guess. Right? Like scientifically. My wife gave me the option of coming to pick up Kiki at school. My daughter's name is Kiki. It's not it's common knowledge on the internet, so it's not a horrible thing for me to put out there. But the I was like, oh, I'm streaming, and she was like, okay, well, do you want to come pick up? One thing I'm just wary about is doing things that, if I make decisions that make it seem like the stream is more important than my family, for instance, that will not reflect well on the prospects of continuing said stream. So when I peace out, it's going to be quick, and it's going to be final. Not final, but it's going to be, I may not pick it up again later. We'll see. That highlight, and what I'm going to do is, because theoretically these light sources are identical, tiny little highlights. And having things go like this highlighted isn't necessarily with the process. The process is this is like a textural thing, and I'm just sort of keeping it consistent through the series and experimenting with it, because it certainly isn't the only way to, you know, to use this process to get an effect. It is, however, a something that seems to look good when I do it, and so I'm sort of exploring the boundaries. Like, how far can I push that before I'm like, well, that was too far and it sucks now. That's what I want to know. I want to learn. And, you know, there's it's like, should I add a bunch of highlights to this stuff in the background. It's like, I don't think so. I don't think that needs it. I don't necessarily want the eye to be focused on that or drawn to that more than it needs to be. I don't mind putting a little bit more on these rocks though. This is going to be somewhat tricky, maybe. How can I do this in a way that will look good, like actually complement the design? Can I draw? It's like I don't have that much experience drawing rocks. If I sort of cut along these facets, like, does that look good? Kind of does, yeah. Sort of reinforces the reason for some of these lines to exist. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. I just don't want it to look weird, like, oh, that's a mistake. He doesn't know what he's doing. I may beat the AI allegations, but I won't beat the he knows what he's doing. He doesn't know what he's doing allegations. Alright, that's easy. This isn't stressing me out too much. Let's try it here. Not a ton of thought going into this work that I'm doing right here. This is, I think it's probably important for objects like rocks not to feel too contrived. It's okay if it, I don't know, you have to embrace the chaos a little bit, right? That one didn't look good. Does not look good. totally forgot to stop the stream. Sorry.